This is Martin Lappin, owner here at Alternative Heating Solutions, and here we have a brand new G100. It was just unloaded this morning. It has a manufacture date of October 2018, so this is the latest stove. We'll start at the top and work our way down the front and show you the stove in general and some of the improvements over last year's model. Here's our water fill indicator. Stainless steel rod, stainless steel float. It has several baffles, so any steam or condensation can condense and run back into the stove. These are very watertight stoves. Normally there's no need to add any water during the season. If you do, it's usually because of an external leak other than the stove itself. And for you first-time owners that are doing your own install, if you fill it about half full, or I should say halfway up the gauge, when you fire the stove up and it hits 180, it'll be full and you won't have water coming out the top from expanding. Drops right in the top. You can see that it's very visible. My G200 is roughly 50 foot away and I can see the water level from here and it's clear full. Here's your loading door, kind of a two-stage. Crack it open to that first stop and wait, then open it the rest of the way, let any gas disperse. The baffle here is removable for spring cleaning. And even though this is a small firebox, being this is what the wife refers to as the baby stove, being that the efficiency is so high on these, you don't need a lot of firebox to get a lot of heat. Under that is our damper. Set this off to the side. This is something I do personally before you leave here, just in case you ever have it apart. The damper can't be put on backwards or upside down. Absolutely no confusion there. They did away with the dogs that used to be on the sides and went to the stud and a couple of knobs, one here, one under the motor. That is a Honeywell spring return damper control, which basically means if your power shuts off, it'll self-close. The stove ain't gonna run away and burn itself up just because the damper didn't shut. On the main door for adjustment, upper and lower rollers are both in slotted holes, so you just loosen them and move them in. On the hinge side, it's 3/8 metal that uses 1/2-inch carriage bolts, and those are in slots, so the door can be moved in and out at the hinge end as well. The lower door is the same way, 3/8 plate for the hinges. Uses a single roller for the latch. When you get to the larger stoves, it'll have a handle like the loading door with 2 rollers. And one of the big improvements is the new sight glass. Open it to there, which allows you to see in the lower burn chamber when it's running. And if you have any ash in the tube, you open it a little further and the blast of fresh air cleans itself out. And since that glass is not exposed to the tube all the time, it should stay clean much longer. This is where the gases burn off and the majority of the heat is made. And 99% of the time, all your ash is going to end up down here. There's an included tool to clean it out. Very rarely is there ever need to remove ash from the top burn chamber during the season. You have to be burning really poor or dirty wood for that to be an issue. Here on the sides, the control. You have your main on-off fuses. Uses a Siemens Logo 8 controller, which is used worldwide in various other industries. It's a very robust controller. They don't go bad very often. It monitors water level, water temp, and whether or not the bypass door is left open. So basically, as long as your red light ain't flashing on the front, you're good to go. Up here's a cold start override, which what that does is bypass the low water temp feature, which basically, if you forget to fill it one morning and the fire goes out, when the water drops to a certain temp, it shuts itself off instead of continuing to pull cold air through the firebox all day. Here is the bypass lever. When it's all the way forward, it'll start to fan automatically if it's not running. This has been changed. Even though I'm not right-handed, it's still much easier to close than the old ones. Here's your easy clean handle. You move that, that raises and lowers your turbulators and the heat exchanger tubes, which I have the back off. We can see that much clearer from the rear. Do that 5 times once a day, and your unit is clean and good to go. There you can see the smoke bypass. That was operated by the front lever again. You see it's all the way open, which allows everything to vent right out the top. And that is meant to be like that. That helps it center better in the hole when you close it. You can see the little bit of flash rust, and that is perfectly normal and acceptable for 409 stainless. It is not a shiny stainless or a pretty stainless like some things are made of. It's more of a workhorse. It'll outlast the other stainless in this application, and it'll most definitely outlast mild steel. Here you can see the supply and return line. Being a G100, this is plumb for really one building, or if you had 2 smaller heat requirements, it could be teed off and 2 lines ran off of it. Here's the included recirculation pump, which some people refer to as a shunt pump as well. You got your electrical hookup behind here. Recirculation pump on off, main power. There you can plug your pumps into. You can see here the ash rakes included, short piece of exhaust stack, 4 water test bottles, and a gallon of treatment. If you're buying this from a dealer and you're missing any of it, you didn't get all your parts. You need to call your dealer and make sure they know. Owner's manual with 2 spare fuses, which I've yet to have to change any fuses. And then a pretty robust design. It doesn't tend to eat fuses very often. Rear door. Nice feature about these are the way the hinges are made. When you're installing or cleaning at the end of the year, if it's a windy day and you're worried about the wind grabbing the door and potentially racking it, you can just lift it off the hinges and set it off to the side. Over here we have the rear plate that has the draft inducer motor. This has been changed. They now use these hooks on the inside, and these help with self-alignment. The older models had catches on the outside and they're welded to the stove itself. And they worked well enough, but sometimes you'd have to slide the entire thing one side or the other to get it to line up and actually close all the way. One other upgrade is they did have some issues with the rear flange warping. So now there's reinforcements on either side. Take care of that issue. And overall, basically, it's a very well designed stove. The earlier ones were very well designed, but they just keep getting a little better and a little better every year. Here we have a GS 100. If you're shopping for stoves and come across them, you'll know immediately the difference. The newer GS's do have the easy clean handle on the outside at the rear. They will not have a smoke bypass handle. A GS will also have the barn tin and the pitched roof instead of the round roof. Other than that, they're both the same design, same efficiency, same BTU output. Just the GS come with less of the convenience features, so you'll get it for a lower price. This is Martin Lappin with Alternative Heating, and hope to hear from you someday. Thank you.